This entire window has been blown completely off, the sash and everything, multiple screens out, and then follow me right over here, and we've got actually an entire house right here that has been reduced to just smoldering rubble. Now, just to give you a little bit of an idea of just how thick the ice was in some places this morning, this was my ice scraper. I broke it in half this morning just trying to clear off my car to come into work. It's all the pictures and videos without all of this boring writing to scroll down through. The storage units do have security cameras, in fact, 8 of them. The problem is they don't cover the backside of the building. You take a look here behind me, you can see just how muddy this ditch is here on the north side of Lorena. Now, police say they put down spike strips, and he actually managed to swerve around them and ended up here in the ditch. For the second time in 5 years, Fort Hood here in the national and international spotlight, and unfortunately for the second time in 5 years, it's for an absolutely terrible tragedy. Let me show you just the kind of attention that the story is already getting. Quite a bit of damage here in the Hobby Lobby parking lot at Richland and Bosque in Waco. Really, this whole shopping center has seen quite a bit of damage. You can see the power is still out to all of these shops around here. Has been since about 7 when this storm rolled through. Let me show you some of the other interesting damage here. These huge tree limbs, a few of these throughout the parking lot. The interesting thing about this one here is that there isn't a tree nearby. The closest one is probably about 75 feet away. So definitely some very strong winds that came through here. A long line of cars covers both sides of McLaughlin Road.
Everybody's doing what they can do.
They're not cop cars.
Just help each other out.
But they, too, responded to the call.
I mean, if my daughter was out here or if I was out here, I'd hope that somebody would come out and be trying to help in whatever way.
They're volunteers like Dean England and his 2 kids. On horseback and 4-wheelers, they search around Lake Waco for any signs of 24-year-old Brittany Stevenson. The car she was in drove through a barrier and into the water last night. The other person in the car escaped. She told investigators she never saw Stevenson do the same. Search crews pulled the car from the lake at around 8 this morning, and that's when the real search started. Now animal and human team up to comb the terrain.
It's wet, there's a lot of thorn bushes, there's a lot of trees zigzagging in and out.
To look for any sign she made it out of the water.
It's a good thing the horses are here because there's a lot of pipe that we have to go over, a lot of stumps that we can go over where otherwise 4-wheelers can't get into.
The search crews pack up as the sun sets and Waco police set up barricades. They'll camp here overnight before getting back in the saddle alongside the impromptu search party.
As long as we're an asset and as long as we stay warm and are able to help and not hinder, then we'll stay.
It may be cold, but the constant rain can't dampen the hope they're keeping alive. In Waco, Chris Davis, KCEN HD News. Robots don't decide where to go. They don't choose how to move their arms or what to pick up. They don't connect their own circuits. Robots need direction.
Yeah.
13-year-old Colleen Goggin sits behind the controls to provide it.
People say that girls can't be engineers and they can't do anything guys can do.
People are often wrong. The metallic clouds and their robot bolts prove it.
We're a team of 6 to 7 girls building a robot in 6 weeks.
Waco's all-girl robotics team is one of just 5 teams across the country sponsored by the Girl Scouts.
It's really hard getting girls into robotics just because girls think it's like, ooh, it's a boys' sport, but it's not.
Besides this year's task of stacking boxes and recycling bins, there's a broader vision behind these safety glasses.
Girls just need to get into this. Like, they need to look past the whole stereotype thing and just go, this is really cool.
Women represent less than 1/3 of all workers in science and technology fields, and less than 1/7 of all engineers.
Girls can do the same thing, so they don't really have to have that hindering them. They just need to know that that's what they like to do and that's what they should do.
Everyone on the team has a job, a role to play in setting Bolt's course.
It's a circuit breaker like in a house, only smaller.
The wiring is 14-year-old Emma's handiwork.
It was absolutely incredible to know that that was something that I did, and it actually works.
See, you're learning things.
When people say you can't do it, just do it. So that way you can go back later and saying, I did it. Now what do you want to tell me I can't do now so I can go do it now?
We can totally do this, girls, honestly.
The metallic clouds give their robot direction.
Good on this side.
And get a little of their own in return.
The bus stop is here.
It's the stop her kids use.
My daughter and my son. She's 16 and my son's 7.
But before the bus pulled up in front of Michelle Crawford's house this morning, a man out front called out to another student, a friend of Michelle's daughter.
To know that there was a guy parked outside trying to lure a kid into his car is, creepy.
Gatesville police say the driver called out to her to come to his vehicle. When she started to walk away, the driver became more demanding as he tried to convince her to walk over to him. That's when the teenager ran. Michelle got the rest of the story from her daughter via text.
She told her that she was going to run over to our house, but that he was parked in front of our yard, so she was afraid he would get her.
The girl got to a different house and the man drove off. An email
it's Gatesville ISD.
Told parents about it just an hour later.
It's at 8:17.
Part of it reads, a white male with a full, bushy beard tried to get a female 11th grade student to come to his car and identified the intersection.
Parents say they didn't just get emails from the district, but that they also sent out automated phone calls, and that gave them just a little more peace of mind.
What gave them even more was the girl's reaction.
Being smart enough not to even hesitate to take off running to a safe place was probably the best move she could have done.
A move the Crawfords are sure their kids would make, but they won't risk it now.
I'm going to come out here from now on and kind of watch them get on the bus.
And watch for anything out of place. In Gatesville, Chris Davis, KCEN HD News. It's 9 o'clock on a Wednesday night in downtown Waco. Behind the glass at the business incubator ThinkSpace.
Subscription models, though, there's serious money in that.
Innovation is brewing.
I think any entrepreneur is constantly kind of walking around with a slurry of ideas in their head.
Sean Choi is a social entrepreneurship major at Baylor.
And basically the idea...
This is his outlet.
I have no idea how it's going to affect me, but that's the beauty of it.
If we want to split up and do it,
it's called...
That's just another thing to pitch,
Hack Baylor.
It said entrepreneurship meeting, Hack Baylor, and I was like, okay, what the heck is this?
How would I explain this group?
A collection of students.
There's just stuff that you can't learn just sitting in classroom.
Time.
Pitching ideas.
All right, cool. Q&A.
And getting down to business.
We just want to be here to start building and creating and innovating.
Rayon Islam helped start the group to bring together students who might not find each other without it.
There is talent here, but the talent is fragmented.
It's based around an idea a friend of his came up with at Harvard.
That's the thing. That's what we need to figure out.
Rayon and another friend thought if it can work there, why not here?
The best case scenario is honestly to see some of these startup ideas actually come to life and commercialize into $1 billion company.
Yeah, that's pretty simple.
But as much as members want to come up with the next Facebook, Hack Baylor is really about not being afraid to act on ideas.
Yeah, I've always got more.
To create the companies that create change.
All right, round of applause for TJ.
Waco is the perfect place for innovation and entrepreneurship because Waco needs it.
After all, it only takes one. The name Parker means keeper of the park.
We didn't mean for that to happen. It just happened.
Parker Pashofsky, just 6 years old,
Parker had the idea,
is already living up to his name.
but his organizational skills is not that great.
To say that I am a proud mother right now would be an understatement.
Lindsay Pashofsky lost her husband Joey in the explosion. The blast also destroyed the city park. It was one of Parker's favorite places to play with his dad. So his idea...
It didn't surprise me.
Rebuild.
To know that my child did that and his grandparents helped do that, it's an amazing feeling.
It's a grown-up idea from a visionary not done growing up himself. Covering his ears for a passing train. Too shy to break ground on his park project.
And there it is.
Too much of a kid.
He can't help but fall in love with little Parker.
Not to dig anyway.
He's been wanting to come out here and do this, and how come this isn't getting done, and he's ready.
Step 1, removing all this gravel and then digging down another 8 inches or so. And that's going to set the canvas for Parker's park. In a town where rebuilding has become a daily task,
Not only are we building a park,
this project
we're also, helping people kind of recover from everything.
is a sign of hope
It's to create a legacy.
that kids in West can still be kids. Chris Davis, KCEN HD News.